Last time that we were visiting, I was telling you about being on midnight watch, just gone on watch as we went from Guam to the Philippines. And the sun was coming, the moon was breaking through the clouds some. And just after I was on bridge for 5 minutes or so, I was to have the earphones to the engine room. That was my duty that night. And as we were changing, boom, an explosion hit and knocked me up in the air 3 or 4 feet, and I came down on the stomach on the deck and looked up, started to get up, and there was water and debris and fire and material just coming up above, past the bridge going up. And the bridge was 81 feet from the water line. That's how the bridge was. And the water and debris and fire was going well above that. And I got to my knees and boom, another one hit. And this time it hit amidships. See, we didn't know whether the ammunition had exploded. We didn't have any idea what was happening. We just knew we were out in the middle of the ocean, halfway between the Philippines and Guam, traveling by ourselves. Well, up in the air again, I went whenever the second explosion went off, and got up and we had no power. I couldn't reach the engine room, lookouts or anything, and the captain had been blown up out of his bed, out of his cot, and he was out on the bridge in his pajamas asking what had happened. Well, nobody knew what had happened except that we had been, had 2 big explosions. Well, he began to get on his clothes and all, and the officer of the deck said, somebody get the captain a life preserver. Well, I knew where they were because we had taken some new life vests on whenever we were in dry dock, and I knew where they were hanging. And we called them May West. They stuck out in front, and that was what the Navy called their life preservers. They were new, and they were floated with kapok, and they were supposed to last about 72 hours flotation. Well, I went to where the life jackets were, got 2, got one for me and one for the captain. Came back, the captain put his on, and we helped him, and in the meantime he had got the fire control officer and had him to go down and check on damage and to tell the engine room to cut their engines. We were still motoring right on down in the sea because we couldn't contact the engine room, and they were not supposed to change anything until they heard from the captain. And here we were just sucking up tons of water. And we found out one of the guys that was sleeping forward, a good friend of mine, said he woke up and 60 feet of the bow was gone. And then the other torpedo that hit us hit the ammunition supply in midships and blew it up, and we were just taking on thousands of tons of water. Anyway, the fire control officer went down and came back 2 or 3 minutes later and said, "Captain, I can't get to the engine room. There's fire everywhere below. I can't get below decks." And the captain said, "Well, go back and try again." So he went back, and by that time, we were holding on to anything we could hold on to stand up on the bridge. We were listening to the right side, to the starboard side, and just hanging on. And the ship was you could just feel it as it was rolling. And so About that time, the fire control officer came back to the bridge and said, "Captain, we've got the abandoned ship we're sinking." And I'll tell you some more later.